And I guess the question has to be asked is, it was an interesting night. It was a revealing night. As Mika said, we learned a lot about some of these people and their views, particularly raising their hand. Most of them, Ron DeSantis, after checking with everyone else to see if they were raising their hands, to say, yes, I would support this man, even if he's a convicted felon. The larger question, as Donald Trump reports to Fulton County later tonight, is, does any of what we saw last night matter? Yes, Governor Haley had a good night. Yes, Vivek Ramaswamy introduced himself to the country. All of that may be true, but they're all down by 30 points. They're all down by 40 points, according to the latest Yahoo News YouGov poll. Did anything that happened last night matter? Did anything change the race?
Yeah, that was my question going into this debate. Sort of, what is the point of this Republican primary? Because if the leading candidates are just auditioning to be Trump's top surrogate when it comes to defending him on the things that he's most vulnerable on, like his 4 arrests, the fact that he's getting a mugshot today, if Ron DeSantis is not willing to not even talk about the subject, but defend Trump on the subject, then why are you running against him? I mean, what is the point? A Republican primary is meant to challenge and vet candidates, right? And if you want to talk about electability, Nikki Haley sort of got there. She said, Donald Trump is disliked. How about the fact that President Biden and Democrats are almost certain to make this a focus of their campaigns? These criminal charges, as this goes to the courts, it's almost certain going to dominate the news and our lives for the next 2 years. If you can't get to the point about saying we really have to grapple with the fact about how we prosecute alleged criminal conduct from a former president, and that matters for rule of law, I would be there for that debate. I would like to have it, but I understand why Ron DeSantis can't do it. Why can't you just say he's not going to be available to campaign against Joe Biden because he's going to be in court, right? Like, you can make an electability argument in that way, but they're not interested in doing that. And so I see this, it might be the beginning of a coronation, not a real challenge.
Amanda, I mean, I get tired saying this. But, we Republicans, and I can talk about you and me here, we Republicans used to care about winning elections. In fact, I don't know, you could accuse some of us of caring maybe a little too much about winning elections. So you bring these things up, and there will be people out in Trump land going, oh, left-wing traitor, left-wing subversive, left-wing this, lefty. We're talking about deficits. We're talking about debt. We're talking about the Constitution. We're talking about the things that Reagan talked about, protecting freedom in Western Europe, protecting freedom in Central Europe, protecting freedom in Eastern Europe. We're talking about these basic issues that Trumpers don't believe in. And then on top of that, we're talking about how to win. Like what you just said, there's nothing wild about that or radical about that. If you want to win the election, if you want to beat Joe Biden, put Nikki Haley up. She'll beat Joe Biden. Put Ron DeSantis up. Ron DeSantis will probably beat Joe Biden. Put Tim Scott up. Tim Scott will put, we're in a position now where they could put just about anybody up against Joe Biden. And for whatever reason, I can't really explain it, I do think Biden's done very well in many areas. But Republicans would win. And yet, I will just say it, the idiots that were booing people saying that we had to adhere to the Constitution of the United States, they don't care about winning elections anymore. They only care about, they think they own the libs. That's kind of like the White House guy, thank God I forgot his name, that bought the sushi, had somebody say something horrible about him, and he threw the sushi away thinking he was owning the libs. All he did was pay $100 for sushi and throw it away. They're shooting themselves in the foot politically time and again. Forgive me for going on and on, but my God, what you said was so basic. And yet this Trump Republican Party, they don't listen because they're too interested in making a point instead of winning elections and changing America.